Well, let's go, baby. Phew. We are on board the new Aprilia Tuareg 660, and it is a beast, people. A bit more water out here today, so pick my lines a bit more. Excuse the pauses while I'm concentrating. Also just got to keep an eye out for other bikes coming the other way. It's Saturday and the sun is out. It's an absolute bluebird day down here in Victoria and down the back of Anglesey. And this thing is, oh mate, I love this. It is not bottoming out. Oh my god. The suspension in this is unbelievable. Because this is factory, this is stock, and it feels perfect. It feels perfect. Confidence inspiring like you wouldn't believe. Big bumps down here, Wayno. There we go. Oh man, that little 659cc parallel twin. Oh, it likes the rev. But it's just smooth and grunty off the bottom too. So nice. Little creek crossing up here. Take it easy through here because I don't want to get my feet absolutely drenched like we did the other day. Bit of water. Feet up, bueno! There we go. When we were down here the other day, I was in motocross gear because I knew I was going to get a bit rowdy down here for the photo shoot. But today, I thought I will try and be a bit more restrained. That lasted about 16 metres, I reckon. So nimble, playful. Oh, it makes you want to do bad things, but in a great way. It shares the same engine as the RS 660 and the Twino 660, and I had some issues with the Twino when I rode it. But this, adventure bike, not a dirt bike, but it's just, oh, it's so nimble. Anyway, get back to what we're talking about. Yes, it's the new Tuareg, and really the elephant in the room is how does it compare to the Tenere 700? That's going to be its closest competitor. And I can tell you now, sorry Tenere 700 owners, but don't do that on a stock Tenere. This jump, not that one, this one coming up, You might remember this angle if you have a look at the pics, but I was launching over there on the photo shoot day, uphill, absolutely launching it. And, as I said before, this is an adventure. Not a motocross bike, but it is so good. Tracks beautifully. Doesn't want to bottom out at all. Sit down, stand up, do what you want. I've got it in off-road mode at the moment, I should mention that. A bunch of different modes. I know. Some bikes here. So, the electronics are another massive plus. Baby. That is soaking that stuff up. Soaking it up. Yeah, switchable on the fly. Everything from Explore mode, which is just full welly, off-road, which we're in now. By default, turns off your ABS on the rear, leaves it on the front, which I prefer. I really do. Because you can really rely on the ABS on the front, which is huge. It's really bloody good. Cautious here too, four-wheel drive's coming up. We'll be going about 3 kilometers an hour up here. And it's so slow. But picking a line is just effortless on this thing. Just roll down, getting super planted. Yoo-hoo! Yeah! Stuff on a 200 kilo adventure bike. Let's talk about that weight a little bit. 200 kilos. 204 actually. It's same weight pretty much as the Tuareg. And I got to admit, I was a little disappointed when I saw the spec sheet. Because knows that I am a big fan of this, basically just a lightweight adventure model, adventure market. So I've been saying for a while, bring me a 175, 180 kilo, 600-ish CC adventure bike, and it will be absolutely my thing. That's the first. Just to let you know. Oh my god, it's just so good off the bottom. So when I saw the spec sheet, I thought, oh man, this is the trick. But rained the last couple of days, so hence all the puddles. It was absolutely perfect here. Day of the photo shoot with Dino, who's a maniac. I love him to bits. His enthusiasm is contagious. Yeah, so the weight, 204 kilos. I thought that was going to be too much. Genuinely did. I was a bit disappointed because I've ridden the 1007 on these same trails. This is my standard loop here. Yeah, oh, nice little front slide in there. I bet that doesn't show up on the camera. But in real life, on the go, see the method of that. It's really definitely blickable enough and playful. Oh man, super playful and puffy. That's going to stay there. Let's go back and give you a look. Look at that. There's not much about it I don't like. Maybe I think I would have liked a beak, styling wise, just in the front there, like a high mudguard, short beak sort of a deal. Because it looks like there's sort of a gap missing there. But that suspension is epic. Really high air filter intake under here, which is awesome. And all the fuel is carried down in here. So unlike the KTM 890 that carries its fuel here, this is really super central. And that whole really slim side is beautiful. The width is amazing. Have a look at that seat. God, you could land an aircraft on that. Look how far forward that goes up here. And unlike a lot of other bikes, I'm not going to call them out, but you can get your weight all the way up here. That's all completely usable. So for an adventure bike, that's pretty rare. And I think that signals a bit of intent really for its off-road prowess. Rear end, heaps of grip, like oodles of grip. Traction control off. That was off all the way. Pretty sure it should have been. And it's super grippy, but heaps of feel. So you know exactly what's going on. Super confidence inspiring. I like these, by the way. That's a nice touch. Grab handle in there. Not a huge amount of space on the back for putting your luggage, but there's lots of accessories and options here. So, you know, think bolt on here, rear platform. They've already got, you know, cage mounts for your panniers, for soft panniers. They've got a great hard pannier option. Yeah, man, this thing rocks. Headlights, high beam doesn't do a whole lot. So if I was getting one, I'd throw some spotties on there for sure. High beam just throws it out a bit more, doesn't increase your actual distance, visible distance by a huge amount. Let's have a look at this dash real quick, because the electronics are awesome. So as you can see, we're in off-road mode here. Pressing this button here changes your modes, and you can do that on the fly. You can even do it with cruise control on. No need to, you know, wait 3 seconds, tap your heels, any of that sort of bullshit. It all works. It's awesome. You can also, on the fly, if I just toggle through my options, here's traction control. You can see it's off, but I can, with a little yoink, turn it on to 1. So that's its lowest. 2, 3, 4 is its highest. You can do that on the go. Same as switching modes. On the go, don't have to get off. don't have to do anything. So yeah, it is awesome. What else can I tell you? All the electronics are awesome. Windshields, I reckon they've missed a slight trick here, a bit like the Norden. It's not adjustable. So it does a good job, it's a good compromise. But on the road, I think I'd like it another B stick higher. And out here on this stuff, I think I'd like it another B stick lower. So, you know, that could be a thing to keep an eye out for. I know that there is a taller one available if you're not going to do this sort of rowdy stuff. But man, I couldn't resist if I had this in the shed, which, whew, I've got to say, might end up happening. It is that good, folks. This is that good. It's been a cracker of a year for new bikes. And just when I thought I had figured out what my favourite bike of the year was, there were some good ones. This thing comes along and resets my parameters. It is seriously good. All right, I'm going to keep going here because I'm not far out of fuel, or not far from out of fuel. I'm going to keep going down through to Anglesey, fill up with fuel, take a break, maybe check this video, see if it worked. Hopefully it did. But yeah, tell us what you want me to do. Do you want simple ride reviews like this? Do you want me to go into more detail? Trev normally does all the, you know, specs and details and that sort of stuff online, probably better than I do. I'm more about how it feels on the go, and who it probably is going to appeal to. And so this is going to appeal to those blokes, maybe who started on dirt bikes, because it just feels like a big dirt bike. It really does. This could be a great first step for people into the adventure bike segment. There is a Lambs version available, which is exactly the same apart from electronically limited. And it's good for, I don't call myself a novice. I've been riding for, I don't know, 20 years or more, plus dirt bikes as a kid. And I love this thing because you can get rowdy, but it's just as good commuting to work. Like it's hard to fault, it really is. But that suspension is, and the whole chassis balance is just epically good, epically good. It is so playful and lively. So easy to throw the front wheel up. So easy to throw into a big slide. Handles, jumps, no problem. Like, you know, you saw that stuff that we were just doing then. It's, my God, it's so capable. And it does it all completely fuss-free. Doesn't buck, doesn't head shake, none of that. It's just, man, it is so good. It's so well balanced. And with that, I am going to, as I said, continue on. I'll come back. I might come up here. This is one of my favourite bits up here. On the way back, we'll see how we go. Or I might even get a different angle. But yeah. Man, if I was Yamaha, I'd be looking over my shoulder. Tenere owners, I'm sorry, but this is the new benchmark. The way this thing rides out of the box, a T7 can only dream of. You know, and electronics, everything on point, included by default. Not that much more money than a Tenere now. They're not that cheap anymore. So, you know, I see the Tenere is basically your indestructible basic bike that you can build on. You know, swap your forks out, do your cartridges, whatever you need, put a different shock on, because you're probably going to need it if you want to push it real hard. But this thing, you don't have to do anything. It comes with a engine protection underneath. That's been getting a workout, but not from bottoming out, apart from a couple of rather large jumps. And in which case, like, I haven't bottomed the suspension out. It's just ever so gently kissed the end of the stroke, but there's no harsh bottom outs or anything. It's magic. So with that, I'm going to jump on. Let's do a little bit more funsies because it is too good. So let's go. We will leave traction control off again. Listen to that. Great exhaust note for a stocker. Like, I can't help but imagine what it would be like with a better can, but that's boogie, baby. Did I mention the front's playful? Stock suspension. So good. Now I'm just going to back off a bit here because make sure there's no four-wheel drives or anything coming down here. This bit is a little sketch, not for this bike, but four-wheel drives tend to be pretty slow coming down here. Oh, perfect timing. There you go, that's why I was slow. Oh, hello. It's well balanced. Like, it's so good. Just brilliant. That was the one I was doing a rather large jumps over the other day. So is it good? Yeah, I reckon it's alright. Wayno's bike of the year so far. I mean, it's almost November. Not many more to come. Oh boy, how good. All right, here we go. Try for another one. I can't stop riding this thing. I don't know, what haven't I told you about so far? I haven't told you. think I've told you everything. The engine is amazing. Like, not in the sense of it makes bulk power or any of that, but I prefer the tune of this with, I think, 82 horsepower and the fueling absolutely bang on point. I prefer this than the Tuono at 100 horsepower, and the fueling was snatchy and aggressive, and in and around town, the Tuono actually, I found it frustrating. Out on your own, beautiful bike, great. But in and around town, when you're trying to match traffic speed and, you know, you're dawdling along, there wasn't much fun at all. Trying to keep the boots dry today. There we go. Very stylish. But yeah, the standout of this bike is just the balance overall. Chassis, suspension package is just absolutely dialed in. And while I, you know, see how quick that changed direction then when I saw the puddle? Like, just flick it over and let it rip. That was a pity you didn't see how far the rear stepped out then. That was pretty gnarly. But yeah, it's just, suspension and chassis is just brilliant. Like, you could probably hear then, you could probably hear the exhaust. There was plenty of grip over those whoops. That could have easily been messy, but it's just not on this. Nothing is ever a problem, you know. Smooth, effortless. Doesn't need a quick shifter. I like it without. I like, you know, the clutch is super light. You're certainly not going to get bloody arm pump from that. Like, everything is just so well balanced. It's so capable and playful and agile, but it doesn't head shake. Like, it's not flighty, it's super stable, and maybe that's where that extra weight comes from, but the boys told me I was going to love this bike because they know what sort of riding I like to do, and this is kind of right up my alley, right? Oh, I thought they were adding a bit of mayo on. I thought, yeah, you know, that's your job. You're marketing boys. You're supposed to get me pumped, right? Well, I don't think there was much mayo. It is awesome. And I reckon it's pretty good value. But realistically, like, the bikes you're comparing it to, I reckon it's completely justifiable. I think I said before, it makes you really have a stop and hard think about 10 or 8 700 prices. Suspension is nowhere near this level, or electronics, or the chassis in general. It's just leagues ahead. Now, yes, there's a question around how's the motor going to last, etc, etc, because it's a new engine, yet to be proven. It's It's not like Aprilia have a reputation for building grenades though. I see no reason why this won't be a good engine. So, geez, do yourself a favour if you can. Get down to one of the ride days that Aprilia are putting on. Yeah, I think there's an entry fee, but you know, you get a bit of merch. You get to spend a lot of time on the bike with some experts, proper guidance, etc, etc. Oh dear. Yeah, I'd get along, but I'll tell you what, if you do, you want to take your checkbook with you, because these whoops, they're not massive, right? But oi, that was too much. Didn't need that. But yeah, it's just great. Should have paid more attention to that camera.